Welcome to TV Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Psycho 2 screenwriter says making the sequel to Alfred Hitchcock's horror classic was nearly a career ender. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem director reveals Paul Rudd's hilarious contract demand. Matthew Perry's Friends co-stars pay tribute to the late actor. Federal Housing Minister disappointed as BC politicians vote against delaying new development fee increases. Friends stars mourn the unfathomable loss of Matthew Perry. We were more than just castmates. We are a family. Psycho 2 screenwriter says making the sequel to Alfred Hitchcock's horror classic was nearly a career ender. Yahoo! Psycho 2, written by Tom Holland and released 40 years ago, was one of the rare sequels that didn't tarnish the reputation of the original film. Starring Anthony Perkins, the movie brought Norman Bates back into the pop culture consciousness in a major way, inspiring 2 additional sequels, both of which starred Perkins, a controversial shot-for-shot remake from Gus Van Sant and a popular TV prequel, Bates Motel. It also paved the way for Holland's successful move behind the camera as the director of such 80s horror hits as Fright Night and Child's Play. Holland says that Norman's trip from insanity to sanity and back again was what eventually led Perkins to reprise his most famous role. Psycho 2 acknowledges its predecessor upfront, opening by playing back the pioneering shower scene where Janet Leigh's Marion Crane is stabbed to death by Norman Bates wearing the clothes of his long-dead mother. From there, Holland jumps ahead 2 decades to Norman's release from prison over the strenuous objections of Marion's sister, Lila, played by Vera Miles, the only other star of the previous film to reprise their role. Returning to his mother's house and the adjoining Bates Motel, Norman tries to lead an ordinary life, and even welcomes a houseguest, a young waitress named Mary, Meg Tilly. But a series of handwritten notes, and a series of murders, seem to suggest that Mother is back up to her old habits. Midway through the film, though, it's revealed that Norman is innocent of those crimes. Not only that, but Mary is actually Lila's daughter, and is a reluctant part of her mother's plan to hold Norman accountable for his past crimes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem director reveals Paul Rudd's hilarious contract demand. Yahoo! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, the latest film in the TMNT franchise, has received positive reviews from critics and audiences alike. The film has a 96% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes and was a box office hit, grossing $180 million on a $70 million budget. There is even Oscar buzz for a nomination in the Best Animated Feature category. The film's success is largely attributed to its humorous screenplay, which was co-written by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, and its voice cast, which includes Jackie Chan, Maya Rudolph and John Cena. The film's director, Jeff Rowe, has said that Rogen's comedic talents in particular made a big difference. Rowe also talked about the film's distinctive animation style, which he said was based on teenage drawings. The film's setting in the 2020s was a deliberate effort to evoke the nostalgia of 1990s New York, which is when the TMNT franchise originated. Matthew Perry's Friends co-stars pay tribute to the late actor. ABC. Matthew Perry's former Friends co-stars, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, and David Schwimmer, have paid tribute to the late actor in a joint statement. They describe his death as an unfathomable loss and express their devastation. They also mention that they were more than just castmates, but a family. The statement concludes by sending thoughts and love to Perry's family, friends, and fans around the world. Series co-creators Marta Kaufman and David Crane, as well as executive producer Kevin Bright, had previously issued a joint statement. Federal Housing Minister disappointed as BC politicians vote against delaying new development fee increases. The Globe and Mail. Politicians in British Columbia have disregarded the Canadian government's push to boost affordable housing and have voted in favor of major increases in development fees. Sean Fraser, the country's housing minister, had suggested delaying the increases as a condition of funding under Ottawa's Housing Accelerator Fund. The move leaves $138 million of federal money for Surrey and Burnaby in limbo. Developers will have to pay up to $15,000 more per unit over the next 3 years. Friends stars mourn the unfathomable loss of Matthew Perry. We were more than just castmates. We are a family. Yahoo! The Friends cast has released a joint statement following the sudden death of Matthew Perry, who died at his Los Angeles home at the age of 54. Perry's co-stars Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc and David Schwimmer said they were utterly devastated by the loss of Matthew, describing themselves as a family. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed that an autopsy had been completed, but the cause of death is being deferred pending further investigation. Although no illegal drugs were found at the scene, prescription medications were recovered. No foul play is suspected. Audio of the dispatch call to Perry's home mentioned drowning. Perry had spent his final hours playing pickleball at an exclusive country club, a sport he loved, and which his friend and coach said was his outlet amid his sobriety. Perry's family said they were heartbroken at the loss. Friends stars devastated by Matthew Perry's death. BBC. The cast of Friends, including Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Matt LeBlanc, David Schwimmer, and Lisa Kudrow, have expressed their devastation over the loss of their co-star, Matthew Perry. Perry was found unresponsive in a hot tub at his house on Saturday and his cause of death is still unknown. The cast released a joint statement saying they are grieving and processing the loss, and their thoughts and love are with Perry's family and friends. Matthew Perry was candid about his addiction. His words are now part of his legacy. Yahoo! Matthew Perry wanted to leave a legacy of inspiring and helping other addicts in his final years. In his memoir, Friends, Lovers and the Big Terrible Thing, Perry details his relationship with alcohol, his addiction to Vicodin after a 1997 jet ski accident and a near-death experience in 2019 after his colon burst as a result of his use of opioids. Perry shared vulnerable insight into his private life, from his fractured familial relationships and chasing his acting dreams to powering through his cycle of drug and alcohol abuse, leaving readers with an indelible message of hope and resilience. "I never raised my hands and said, 'That's enough, I can't take it anymore, you win,'" he wrote. "And because of that, I stand tall now, ready for whatever comes next." Perry details in the book a near-death experience in 2019 in which Perry's colon burst because of his opioid use. He was left in a coma for 2 weeks and hospitalized for 5 months, and he had to use a colostomy bag. Perry recounted in the book how his substance abuse issues started when he was 14 years old, being just 24 when he landed Friends, and how skyrocketing to fame escalated his alcohol and drug abuse. At one point, according to the book, he took up to 55 pain pills a day. His weight fluctuated from 225 pounds to 128. Perry said his recovery journey left him with a prevailing sense of duty to help others walking similar paths. A big heart, Smokes Patinery founder Ryan Smolkin remembered for fun persona. The Toronto Star. Ryan Smolkin, the founder of Smokes Patinery Incorporated, has passed away at the age of 50 due to complications from recent surgery. Smolkin started the restaurant chain in 2009, serving poutine with a variety of toppings. He dreamed of achieving global domination with the brand, and Smokes Patinery grew to over 100 locations across Canada and the US. Smolkin was known for his zany personality and rock and roll spirit, and he created the World Poutine Eating Championship. He is survived by his twins, Nate and Sam, and his father and siblings. The Gilded Age, Series 2, Episode 1, Review. Downton's American sibling returns with confidence. Telegraph. The second series of historical drama The Gilded Age, created by Julian Fellows, began on January 2. The show, set in 1880s New York, follows the lives of the city's elite as they navigate the social and political changes of the time. The new series revolves around the rivalry between two opera houses, and sees the characters caught up in various romantic entanglements. The show has been praised for its lavish production values and costume design, as well as its talented cast. As more people buy bush foods, knowing where they come from is about to get easier. ABC. Indigenous communities in Australia are developing an app that uses blockchain technology to trace the history of bush foods and other native products from harvesting to the end consumer. The app, called AUS Tucka, aims to verify the authenticity and provenance of these products and empower Indigenous communities by allowing them to negotiate prices directly. The technology could also be used for other Australian botanical and food species across various industries. Traceability is particularly important for bush foods and plants, as they are culturally significant and have been maintained by Indigenous communities for generations. Dear viewers, I am Six Doctor, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and analysis. Let's dive right in. First up, we have the revelation from Tom Holland, the screenwriter of Psycho 2, who claims that making the sequel to Alfred Hitchcock's horror classic was nearly a career-ender. Surprisingly, Psycho 2 managed to avoid tarnishing the reputation of the original film and even brought Norman Bates back into pop culture consciousness. It's a rare feat for a sequel, and it's fascinating to hear Holland's insights into the making of the film. Moving on, we have some exciting news from the world of animated movies. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem has garnered positive reviews and box office success. The film's director, Jeff Rowe, reveals that Paul Rudd had a hilarious contract demand, which added to the film's comedic value. It's always interesting to learn about the behind-the-scenes antics and how they contribute to the final product. In a somber turn of events, the cast of Friends has paid tribute to the late Matthew Perry. The statement released by Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, and David Schwimmer speaks to their deep connection and friendship. It's heartwarming to see their bond extend beyond the screen, and our thoughts go out to Perry's family and fans around the world. Shifting gears, we have a political development in British Columbia that goes against the Canadian government's push for affordable housing. The decision to increase development fees has left federal funding in limbo, highlighting the complex challenges of balancing economic and social priorities. It's a reminder that even well-intentioned policies can face roadblocks. Tragic news continues as we mourn the loss of Matthew Perry. The joint statement from the Friends cast expresses their devastation, and the cause of his death is still unknown. Perry's struggles with addiction were well documented, and he had hoped to inspire and support others in their recovery. His legacy will live on through his candidness and resilience. In a different realm, we remember Ryan Smolkin, the founder of Smokes Poutineery Incorporated, who recently passed away. Smolkin's vision for global domination with his poutine chain was driven by his zany personality and rock and roll spirit. His creation, the World Poutine Eating Championship, showcased his passion and creativity. Shifting back to entertainment, we have the return of The Gilded Age with its second season. Created by Julian Fellows, the show continues to captivate audiences with its intricate storytelling and lavish production values. Set in 1880s New York, it explores the lives of the city's elite during a time of social and political change. Lastly, we have an exciting development in Australia, where Indigenous communities are using blockchain technology to trace the history of bush foods. The app, AUS Tucka, aims to verify the authenticity and provenance of these products, empowering Indigenous communities and preserving their cultural heritage. It's a powerful example of how technology can be used for social good. That's all for today's news update. Remember, your thoughts and opinions matter too. Feel free to join the discussion and share your ideas. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the 6 Degrees world. Yours in observation, 6 Doctor. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6 Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6 Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6 Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6 Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6 Do Brief via email.